You wake up in your 30s and suddenly your body feels different. The scale creeps up, fat shows up where it never used to be, belly, hips, thighs, and the worst part, you're eating the same, working out the same, but your body isn't responding the way it used to. And of course, everyone has an opinion. Oh, it's just hormones, Susie. You're getting older. You need to eat less and move more. Right, Brenda, because eating 1,200 calories and running myself into the ground worked so well for me. Spoiler, it didn't. So let's talk about the real reasons we gain fat in our 30s and what you can actually do about it. Hey y'all, welcome back to Doozy Talks with Susie, where we keep it real about fitness, nutrition, mindset, and how to live in sync with your body and your purpose. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because today we're diving into the truth about fat gain in your 30s. Let me know if this sounds familiar. You used to get away with pizza nights and a little extra dessert in your 20s. And now, one weekend of indulgence feels like it sticks to your waistline. You hit the gym, but the weight isn't moving like it used to. You feel softer, puffier, maybe even more bloated, even though you're trying harder than ever. And it's not just physical. The stress is higher, sleep is shorter, cravings hit harder, you're tired, moody, and wondering what happened to your old body. If you've noticed these shifts in your 30s, drop a frustrated emoji in the comments so I know I'm not alone. Here's something nobody really talks about. Muscle loss equals a slower metabolism. So muscle loss starts as early as your 30s. It's called sarcopenia. And unless you're actively fighting it, you can lose 3 to 5% of your muscle every decade. Why does that matter? Because muscle isn't just for flexing in the mirror. Muscle is your metabolism. It burns calories even while you're sitting on the couch. Lose muscle, and suddenly fat gain feels effortless, even if you're eating the same as before. So, I'm not saying your metabolism is broken, but I am saying your metabolism is starving for muscle if you're noticing these mild changes. Then there's our good friends, stress and cortisol. We always have them in our 30s. They're so nice to have around, right? Your 30s often mean more responsibilities. You've got your career, your kids, your bills, less sleep, more stress hormones, like cortisol, go up. And cortisol has one main job: store energy for later. Translation? Belly fat. And here's where genetics come in. Some of us, me included, have gene variants that slow down how we clear our stress hormones. And that means for people who have these, people like me, our bodies stay in fight or flight longer. And that stress chemistry literally works against my fat loss goals. So if you're wired, tired, craving sugar, and storing belly fat, even while eating clean, it might not be your willpower, it might be stress. If you have ever felt like stress alone made you gain weight, drop a sad emoji in the comments so I can say hi to you and tell you you're not alone. Now, we also have hormones. Hormones do play a role, but they're not the whole story. For women, estrogen starts to dip in your 30s, like mid to late 30s. You're not doomed as soon as you turn 30. But it's normal for the estrogen to start dipping as you're in your mid to late 30s. And that shift redistributes fat towards the belly. For men, the testosterone starts its slow decline, which makes muscle harder to keep and fat easier to store. But listen, blaming hormones alone is like blaming the steering wheel when the whole car breaks down. Hormones are just one piece of a puzzle. Muscle, stress, genetics, lifestyle, they all pile on together. And you can keep those hormones healthier longer if you're over here building muscle. Then we have genetics and the fat burning speed. We can't forget about our genetics. If you haven't done it yet, I say it in almost every video, you should get your DNA tested. Look at your detox genes, look at your methylation genes, and there's a whole bunch of them. You can look at your fitness genes, your health and wellness genes. And what this does is it's basically your blueprint or the owner's manual for how your body functions. And when you read it, you can see, oh, I need these certain nutrients. My body metabolizes this well. My body builds muscle like this. My body burns fat in this way. So it is very valuable. When I did my DNA tests, and I've done a lot of them, but when I did it, it shows that I build muscle slower than average, and my VO2 max response is low. When people are like, what is VO2 max? Well, basically, this means my HIIT workouts don't work as well for me as they do for others. Other people can do a HIIT workout and feel amazing. They love the fast work for 30 seconds and then slow down, and then fast work and then slow down, and then hard work and then easy. I'm like, oh my goodness, it gives me anxiety just thinking about it. So my body doesn't respond as well to that as it does for other people. And that explained why Brenda lost fat fast with spin classes, while I just ended up more anxious and exhausted every Tuesday at the end of spin class. Thank you, Brenda. I'm glad it works for you. When I learned this, I stopped comparing myself to people who respond differently. I accepted my progress would be slower, but steady. Honestly, if you've ever felt frustrated watching someone else drop fat faster than you, drop a turtle emoji in the comments, because slow progress is still progress. It's still valuable, and it's lasting. It's going to work for you because you've made the progress, and once you've built the muscle or you've lost the fat, it'll stay. The muscle will stay on as long as you stay consistent. So, what can we do? Somebody tell me what we can do. Well, lifting weights. If we focus on compound lifts like glutes, quads, hamstrings, back, chest, you want to hit all those muscles. And the reason why is because stronger muscles equal a faster metabolism, which equals less fat gain and more fat burn. Because metabolism is speeding up, it's going to have to get all of its energy from somewhere, so it'll go to the fat and start burning the fat. Then we focus on protein. Most women, and plenty of men as well, undereat protein because they don't understand how much protein they should be eating. And then they wonder why they're not building muscle. And then they wonder why they're not able to burn the fat like they had been. What I tell people is that you should aim for 100 to 150 grams of protein every day. Depending on your size and training, you may need more. And so I would say if somebody's 200 pounds and they're trying to maintain, they should maybe try for closer to 200 grams of protein, because you want somewhere close to your goal weight in grams of protein. So for me, I only need about 135 grams of protein a day. And I could really honestly do 150 and be benefiting from that as far as muscle growth and fat burn. So protein, here's how it works. Protein fuels the muscle, it curbs cravings, and it balances our blood sugars, which helps with fat. Because if your blood sugar is doing this whole roller coaster ride, then what you end up with is more fat being gained and built onto your midsection. But if your blood sugar stays steady, then we're not trying to add on fat anywhere, because your blood sugar, there's a whole long, I'll make another video on this one. But basically, if your blood sugar stays steady, you're going to be less likely to be adding on fat to your body. Walking, grounding, deep breathing. These are all great ways to help manage stress. There's also some supplements that I take. In addition to walking, grounding, and deep breathing, I do a lot of things to help with stress management. I used to be a very stressed out person, and I don't know how people were able to manage with me. I was a very stressed out person back in the day. And I started trying to figure out, it was honestly the main reason why I had put on so much weight and why I struggled with weight loss when I was losing weight in my 20s. So I knew the first thing I had to do was figure out how to manage my stress. So walking, grounding, and somebody's like, what's grounding? There are things you could buy on Amazon for grounding, but it's basic getting in touch with the earth. So by walking on the ground outside, walk on the dirt, walk on the grass, don't walk on the rocks. That could be painful. Unless you have very calloused feet, maybe it wouldn't be as painful. But grounding is basically being in contact with the earth, and it helps to calm down the nervous system. You can also buy grounding sheets or grounding mats if you don't have access. Maybe you live in the city and there's not as much access to the ground, or you have pets so you'd rather not be walking around on the ground outside. You can get grounding sheets, grounding mats, find them on Amazon. There's plenty of them. And then deep breathing. So deep breathing, there are different techniques. You can find them. One of the ones I like to do is 4 breaths in, 4 seconds in, hold 4 seconds, and then 4 seconds out. But there's a lot of different techniques people use. And you can look those up, find the one that works best for you, that helps you with calming. Supplements. So I take multiple supplements to help with my stress management. Magnesium complex, taurine, glycine. Then there's I take a lot of the magnesiums because those help a lot. I also take methylated B vitamins to help with stress as well. And then the thing, less stress equals less cortisol, which equals less belly fat. That's how the stress plays a role. Because people are like, stress, that's different, that's emotions. Oh, not really. It all plays a role. Then I started focusing on smarter cardio. If HIIT wrecks your sleep or your anxiety, steady state cardio may be better and you'll probably see more results. At least I did. So what I did was I switched to zone 2 cardio, steady state, which means I just kept doing the same thing over and over. I personally thrive with walking fast-paced, and then I pair it with lifting. So I'll do my fast-paced walking and then I'll do some weights. And my body just feels a lot better. I don't feel stressed out afterwards. It's really lovely. And then there's also sleep and recovery. So essential. And people, when they're hyper focused, they tend to forget the sleep and recovery thing. They're like, oh, sleep is for the weak. I don't have time for that. I have to get up at 3 a.m. so I can do my crazy workout. I'm like, no, don't get up at 3 a.m. unless you've actually gotten your 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is very important. So why? Because this is when your fat burning hormones start balancing out. No recovery makes no progress, even if you're working hard. And then play to your genes. If you know you build muscle slower, focus on consistency instead of chasing the PRs every week. Because you can hit those personal records, finally you're lifting 250 pounds, and that's cool. Kudos to you. Awesome. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be building muscle. If you can focus on building muscle instead of hitting all of those new personal records, you're probably going to see a lot more progress. And if you notice you burn fat slower, track your progress in months instead of days. So every month you weigh yourself or you check your measurements and such. So go ahead and drop in the comments. What is your biggest challenge in your 30s? Is it the cravings? Is it the stress? The stubborn belly fat? Drop it in the comments. I want to know because believe me, I've been there. I had my own struggles. Gaining fat in your 30s isn't your fault though. It's not just hormones and it's not because you're lazy. It's biology, stress, and lifestyle changes hitting all at one time. But here's the good news. You can fight back when you strength train, eat protein, manage stress, and give your body recovery. Your 30s can actually be your strongest years yet. I'm living proof. Once I stopped punishing myself with endless cardio and starvation diets and started supporting my body with strength and recovery, everything changed, and it can for you too. So that's why fat gain in your 30s is about more than hormones. It's muscle loss, stress, genetics, lifestyle, and the good news is you can do something about it. If this video gave you some clarity, smash that like button and subscribe because I'm just getting started. And tell me in the comments what's been the hardest part in your 30s. And I'll see you guys in the next video.